So this is for science though, right?
This is for science. So everything we do here is for science.
Wait a minute. I don't know about this.
How do you cool down when you have a bite of something that's too spicy? I've heard of a bunch of solutions and I want to see how well they work. So I'm making America's Test Kitchen's spiciest recipe and having the staff here taste it. Then they'll try various cures so we can all find out what we should do when we can't handle the heat. When we eat chilies, we're experiencing pain, or more accurately, our nervous system is being chemically tricked into thinking our mouth is on fire. Of course, chilies aren't the only food that can perform this trick. Black pepper contains piperine, which triggers the same receptor, though it builds more slowly and feels warmer and duller. And Sichuan peppercorns? They're not true peppercorns. They have compounds called sanshules that can activate those heat receptors. But what most people notice is the sanshules' ability to activate the touch receptors involved in sensing vibration and pressure. That is how they produce that bizarre buzzing numbness called paresthesia. Then there's mustard. Mustard and wasabi are members of the same family and contain a compound called allyl isothiocyanate. It interacts with pain, not heat receptors, to create that signature feeling that we describe as spicy. And you've probably heard of capsaicin, the molecules found in chilies that's responsible for the heat. The capsaicin in chilies binds to heat-sensitive receptors called TRPV1, the same receptors that respond to actual fire or scalding temperatures. It's essentially hijacking your nervous system and convincing your brain that something dangerously hot is happening. Now, I promised you an experiment, but before I can bring in my volunteers, I need to make something spicy. My research says that David Yu's Halal cart-style chicken and rice has the spiciest sauce here at ATK. This is one of New York's greatest street foods. Smoky chicken, yellow rice, crisp lettuce, a cooling white sauce, and a fiery red sauce all packed into one container. We're going to start with the hot sauce. These are dried arbol chilies. They're small, thin, and surprisingly potent because they contain a lot of capsaicin. Now, I've already prepped most of my arbol chilies. What I'm going to do is cut it in half with a knife, and I'm going to squeeze out the seeds. Capsaicin is concentrated mostly in the white membranes inside the pepper, not the seed themselves. However, in this recipe, we are removing the seeds because we want to smooth the consistency for the hot sauce. I'm softening the chilies by submerging them in water and heating them in the microwave until the water is steaming hot. It takes about 10 minutes to rehydrate the dried plant tissue, which helps release both the capsaicin and flavor compounds. By the way, capsaicin is just one member of a family of spicy compounds called capsaicinoids. If you've ever noticed that some chilies hit hard and fast while others have a heat that blooms and lingers, that difference is all about which capsaicinoids the chilies contain, because each one binds a little differently to the heat receptor. The intensity of a chili's spiciness is all about the concentration of capsaicinoids, but the onset and duration of the heat is about the types. Once softened, everything goes into the blender with the vinegar and we puree. Whenever you're blending chilies, be very careful when you remove the lid. The capsaicinoids are aerosolized and you do not want to breathe them in. Now I'm using a fine mesh strainer to get rid of any solids that are present in the sauce to make it very smooth. And I'm extracting as much liquid as possible. To flavor the chili sauce, I'm adding coriander, cumin, smoked paprika, and garlic powder, along with some sugar and salt. Heat isn't just about pain. Aroma changes how we perceive spiciness too. Smoky and roasted spices make chili heat feel deeper and warmer. And now, just to make sure the sauce is hot enough, I'm going to give it a little bit of a taste. Oh. That is hot, very hot. Now for the white sauce. This sauce is mostly yogurt and mayo. Yogurt contains casein, a protein that can help pull capsaicin molecules away from receptors in your mouth, while mayonnaise brings fat. Since capsaicin is fat-soluble, it hangs out with the fat rather than in the heat receptors. The cooling temperature and richness of this sauce helps soften the burn from the red sauce. Now, we just want to flavor it with lemon juice, sugar, salt, garlic powder, and a touch of black pepper. And now I'm also going to thin the sauce out with a little bit of water. Next up, the chicken. The thighs marinate in yogurt, lemon juice, and spices. Yogurt tenderizes the meat because its acidity and calcium helps weaken muscle proteins. These are going to go in the fridge for anywhere from an hour to overnight. After marinating, I am going to arrange the chicken on a wire rack, set on a rimmed baking sheet, and bake in a 400-degree oven. Now that the chicken's out of the oven, I've let it cool briefly before I chop it into bite-sized pieces. The chicken goes right into a non-stick skillet, and I'll cook over medium heat until the chicken is lightly charred. This last step is very important. The medium heat creates browning reactions that generate smoky, savory compounds and crispy edges. The yogurt's milk sugars and proteins accelerate Maillard reactions, helping the chicken develop deeper color. Those roasted flavors make the chicken taste richer and more intense. Now I'm going to prep some garnishes and build my samples before I bring in my tasters. Of course, I'm serving this with yellow rice. For David's full recipe, head over to the America's Test Kitchen app and search for halal cart-style chicken and rice, or use the link in the description below. My bowls are ready, and now all I need to do is get my my testers. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Today I'm going to have you taste David's halal cart-style chicken and rice, which is notorious, or rather infamous, for being the hottest recipe because it has a red sauce that is killer. I'm going to put the white sauce and the red sauce on top, serve it to you, and then if you want more red sauce, let me know. The goal is for you to wait, let the heat kick in, tell me how long it takes, how you feel, and then after we're done with that, you're going to pick one item out of these 5 things that I've arranged on the table in brown paper bags. I did some research on the internet. There are 5 things that we narrowed down to that people recommend to eat or drink that supposedly take away heat. We're going to see what works and what doesn't.
That's crazy.
What are you feeling?
It's so hot. We don't usually make recipes this hot. And this one is so spicy. I don't know how it made it out of the test kitchen. It's really hot
Okay.
on the tongue. Okay, yeah. That's
Okay.
hot.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with this guy.
Okay.
Oh, come on. It's just bread?
The internet recommends bread.
Yeah.
And they say that it helps take away some of the heat. So
Like chew it or like dab it around like a sponge?
chew it.
Okay.
It'll do the same thing.
I mean, it's a sweet roll, which I'm grateful for.
Okay. Do you feel like it's taking away some of the heat?
I feel like it maybe dabbed a little bit off my tongue where I touched it.
Using like a sponge?
Yeah. I don't know that it's working. I think this
Okay.
is psychosomatic. I think I hope it works.
That was kind of my thought when I read this. What bread does, and that's something you described when you used it as a sponge to kind of grab a lot of that capsaicin off your taste receptors. I just don't think it's the most efficient.
Yeah.
I suspect the crustier the bread, like if you use a crusty sourdough, probably might be better. But then I was also thinking a lot of people get cut in the mouth when they eat crusty sourdough, so it might actually make it worse. When you eat bread, the starch and the sugars inside, it induces salivation. So some of that mastication will help kind of take away some of the heat.
I feel like it might be spreading it around.
Okay.
It makes my mouth water more.
Okay, we're gonna like say this is a fail.
That's a wish. That does not work.
Welcome, Keith. Today we're gonna taste test a recipe that I've heard you actually approved.
I did,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm gonna eat the super hot spicy sauce. You want me to burn my mouth on
Exactly,
this and
yeah.
then see
Go
what
all
takes
out.
that burn away.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so let's do this. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, it starts to, wow, whoa. You start from the back and now it's like all over your mouth. It's hot. It's not overwhelming, like you can still taste the fruitiness
Okay.
of it. It's nice. All right, I got full burn now. Okay, I'm gonna take this one right here.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, peanut
Skippy
butter.
peanut butter. So what's the idea behind peanut butter?
So the idea here is that the capsaicin, because it's a fat-soluble molecule, will dissolve in the fat of the peanut butter. And so it takes it away from the receptors in your mouth.
It's working somewhat.
Okay.
I mean, the peanut butter like totally covers your mouth. It feels like it kind of scours that spice away, especially for any heat in your cheeks. The heat is still on my tongue, but in the back of the mouth, in the cheeks, that heat is certainly less, a lot less actually as time goes on. But yeah, I'm gonna say this is a 7.5 out of 10. I can't taste the nice flavor of the sauce anymore, but yeah, I think it works pretty well.
Okay, that's good to know. So that's the first thing that's sort of worked.
Yeah, sort of worked. And now if I can just put it on the roll, I can make a little sandwich.
Welcome, David.
Thank you.
You should be, of anybody to be involved in this taste test, it should be you because you developed this recipe.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you a bowl of your dish with
Okay.
your hot sauce.
I remember this. I might need to go a little more hot sauce.
Oh,
just
wow,
to
okay.
kick it up a little bit more. Okay. Okay.
Hitting.
Starting to feel it in like the back of the throat. Sometimes you eat chilies and like the heat's all in like on the tongue or in the like roof of the mouth. Testing all this stuff in New York, I described it as someone's like kicking you in the back of the throat. That's why I went with these dried chilies. I felt like that's my experience with dried chilies versus like a fresh chili or a chili oil. But yeah, I mean, I hope people are liking it. I try to make it really hot, but also flavorful at the same time. Some of the ones I had in New York were just like pure heat, and it was, well, sorry, the mouth's starting to water a little bit.
No, what I love about the sauce is that you've got some spice in there. There's a little bit of sugar, not to give it real sweetness, but to bring out the fruitiness of the peppers. So I liked it. It was definitely hot for me. I may have said a few things that we have to beep off, but if you're ready.
I'm going to go with this guy on the left here.
Okay. Oh.
I feel bad. I feel like someone that might need it a little bit more.
No, but that is destiny. Here's your ice cream.
All right, thank you.
Let me know if it works.
I think the immediate thing you feel is like the coldness of it. It kind of numbs down the tongue.
Yeah, and it's fast.
Like almost immediate.
Yeah.
But once it melts, the heat does kind of come back a little, or the pain comes back a little.
Okay.
It's definitely like diluting. Every time like it melts, the cold goes away, but then the pain comes back, but it's just a little bit.
You know why I had high hopes with this? Like you mentioned, the temperature. So it causes that immediate numbness in the mouth. And then capsaicin in chilies, the heat molecule is fat soluble. And so then as it's melting, the fat from the ice cream is collecting it, pulling it away from the taste receptors like soap.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the back of my throat too, like that heat I was talking about, like I feel like a lot of that has diminished as well.
Dairy and cold temperature, the best combination. I'm very excited to have Ali here today because Ali is my desk buddy at America's Test Kitchen. We sit next to each other.
It's coming. Yeah.
Yeah? How do you feel?
So far, okay. It's really starting to burn a little bit now, though.
Okay.
I feel a little tingly, a little like I want to cough.
I'm really proud of you in this moment.
The fatty chicken is helping.
Okay.
I will say that. Yeah, that's rough. So I'm just picking one of these and
Just pick one and hopefully it saves you.
Okay, that's not going to help.
Good luck.
Water never helps. Yeah, making it worse.
Water is actually worse because it just spreads the heat all around your mouth.
So this wasn't the research you did, or you did do the research?
I did do the research and we picked 5 things. But you're helping prove a negative. So, what do you think? Water? Yeah
Hard
or
no.
nay?
No.
Okay, fail.
Extreme fail.
All right, I think we should let you go so you can go lie down.
I'm going to go.
Hi, Lon.
Hi.
So, you are my last victim tester.
Glad you're honest and said victim.
As you can see, people have already chosen 4 things, so you really don't have much of an option except for what's ever hidden under this bag.
This better be good.
Yeah, and I hope it works for your sake.
So do I need to get to the point where like I can't talk anymore?
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that long. This white sauce is really nice, though. It kind of cools things down.
Nice counterpart. Yeah, the
Yeah.
yin and yang in this.
You know, I grew up eating a lot of hot sauces because my mom loved it. It's not unbearable.
Okay.
But what's sort of interesting is it doesn't hit right away. I get kind of the vinegary flavor. There's a little bit of that aroma of dried chilies. And then it kind of starts and I can feel it spreading from my tongue where it's fine to the back of my throat where it is less fine. Tell me about how these guys worked.
So we'll start with what failed. Ice water failed. The bread failed because they really don't do anything. But ice cream is the one that so far has been the one that worked the best.
Who was the lucky person who got ice cream?
The developer of this recipe, of course, David.
The one
That
person
is
who
fate.
doesn't need it?
That is fate.
I might steal that ice cream, not gonna lie.
But you still have to pick what's under the bag first.
If I don't like that, can I have the ice cream
You
instead?
may have the ice cream, yeah.
Okay, so this is for science though, right?
This is for science. So everything we do here is for science. Oof. Okay, so you got beer.
Wait a minute. I don't know about this. Oh my God. Okay, here we go.
All right.
For science. The fact that it's cold is nice,
Okay.
but nothing else is happening.
Yeah, I wasn't very confident like you about beer because the temperature is there, so you get that temporary numbness from the heat receptors. But the idea behind this is that beer has ethanol, and ethanol is a solvent for capsaicin.
I mean, not that I'm complaining, but like there's not a...
It's not enough.
There's not a... Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm noticing? The bubbles are really annoying. It feels like
Is it
extra
aggravating?
burny.
Yes. And so that's the other thing. Any drink that's carbonated will actually agitate those receptors. And so then you feel the intensity of the heat even more. So it's kind of like a thing that could provide a solution, but then it neutralizes the solution on its own.
Okay.
Also, this is a little bit acidic,
Yeah.
which is also making it worse.
Yeah,
So yeah, beer, fail.
beer's a fail.
Yeah, ice cream I feel is the clear winner. I will put peanut butter at 2. All these 3 in the same group.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna take this. Thank
All right,
you.
good luck. What I've learned from today's tasting experience is that if I want to get rid of the heat and the burn from a hot dish that has chili peppers, I'm going to go with ice cream. The second best option is peanut butter. If I'm at home and I didn't have any of those options, I know I would reach for the tub of yogurt that's sitting in my refrigerator. What's your favorite way to combat spice? Let me know in the comments below.